Oh, I decide what projects I'll consider. I mean, it changes. Um, it could be something really silly, like I quite fancy going to Ontario. Do you know what I mean? Or it could be this script is the most amazing thing I've, looked at, or this character is something different that I've not done before. I'd really like to explore it. It really changes, it does. Well, firstly, the script, I thought it was really funny and different. It was a different take, on that Christmas movie. And I had not played a character like that before. Strangely enough, it was, I kind of thought I'd quite like to do this sort of homey, cookie making housewife, with an edge. Fatman is a movie about a young boy who gets a lump of coal in his sack for Christmas, who decides to take a hitman out to assassinate Fatman, Father Christmas. My character in the film is Ruth, who is married to Kris Kringle, who is Father Christmas, if you like. She's a very devoted wife and helps and is basically the backbone of their operation. She helps run it, she oversees things, makes sure that everybody's okay. She looks after all their lovely elves and looks after Chris and keeps him in a positive frame of mind. They were great. I enjoyed working with them because they kept such a nice set. No shouting, no panicking, well, not that we saw anyway. They kept things running really evenly, thanked everybody every night when we left the set. I mean, it's a really simple thing, but it means a lot. They're good guys, and they allow for the process to take place. They allow for you to find the character. They don't impose too much. They know exactly what they want and what they're looking for, but they're open for creativity and discovery in the moment, which is always great, which always helps a production to breathe, That developed quite naturally, the warmth and the camaraderie. Mel is extremely funny, but he's also one of these people who's got sort of like an encyclopedia mind of, health and well-being and, books that he's read and stuff. So he's a very interesting man. So I think we bonded on more than just the film that we were doing, but just sort of like he's easy to talk to and fun. We improvised a bit sometimes, and sometimes it made it in, sometimes it didn't, but it was always to try and keep this relationship sort of alive and honest. Walton, again, another funny guy, as as you realize, I didn't work with him a lot, but we have a great scene together, I think, which makes up for not having worked with him. He's very professional, and I think he tried to keep in, as much as he could, keeping character. Ruth is very supportive of Chris, but she's no pushover in her own right. And being with somebody for that length of time, she's picked up a few tricks and is able to defend herself and others. Family traditions for us around Christmas have all got to do with food, and the preparation of it and what's going to be on the menu each year, And I mean, I usually start a couple of days ahead of time preparing bits and pieces. We love to play music all the time in the house, but I mean, around Christmas, you start pulling out, Christmas songs and so on. Well, let me preface this by saying I left England because it was too cold. So when I found out that I would be in, not Montreal, but Ottawa in winter, I mean, I was filled with dread. But when you go and you see that powder thin snow, I mean, it literally is like a Christmas card. the great wonder of being out there in minus degree weather, your nose running. Do you know what I mean? Your eyes. I mean, I've never been so cold in my life, but I had a lot of fun. We were well looked after on set. People would be running over with those sort of aluminium, things that you get after a marathon, and hand warmers and stuff. So we were really out there. It wasn't any sort of stuff that they'd shipped in and dusted all over the place. We were in ice up to our knees. What was fabulous about the production value in the show is that, they built this enormous factory with the elves working and stuff, but it's still gritty. Do you know what I mean? It's supposed to be this sort of fantastical world, but there was still some edge there and some dirt and toil. And I think a lot of thought and time went into really trying to ground the world, because you've got this sort of fantasy thing going on with the whole Father Christmas myth of it all. But I think they were successful in sort of like marrying that with the now. And to kind of go with the action of the film, etc.